over the last 2 years, I've had major life changes, but where my life made big changes was coming to A.Z. and Associates. I kind of found my voice, if so to speak, I suppose. I came into who I was before, but better.
To Women in Real Estate, powered by Badass Agents. Let's introduce who I have in the studio today. I'm super excited about this one. Carolyn, pronounce your last name.
Kovacs.
Kovacs. And where are you from? Where's that name?
It's from Hungary.
I like that.
Hungarian.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm excited to welcome Carolyn to this podcast. I'm going to tell you why. Let's get to the exciting part. Oh, but first I want to tell a story. This is going to be, I think you're going to relate to this. I think a lot of women are going to relate to this, and I was thinking about this yesterday. So I remember when I first started, Carolyn, I remember I had I was just working we were working a ton of REOs, and we had a lot of real estate going on, right? And I had quit my job, and I went into, anyway, my story's long, so I'm not going to go into that. So anyway, I was sitting yesterday, and I came home, and I was super exhausted. But, you know, obviously we love what we do, so it's not that kind of exhaustion. It's exhaustion like everybody just leave me alone, we'll put, you know, something blocking your ears not to hear noise. I come into the kitchen, and there's protein powder everywhere, there's salt, there's dishes, there's everything everywhere. So the kids are home, because mine are on spring break, I don't know about yours.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm like, hey, nobody picked up. Oh, yeah, wait, you
have just one.
You have just one, right?
Well,
yeah.
I have two that are adults and on their own.
Oh, okay. I have two little, you know, a 14-year-old now and a 10-year-old. So I come home, and AZ's in the kitchen too, and we had made shrimp cocktails, so he's pouring himself shrimp cocktails, and I just see a big mess. So I want to get away, and I'm just like, oh man. So I go down to my room, and I just take a deep breath, and I'm like, okay, be grateful for this moment, because soon enough your 14-year-old is going to be off to college, and this moment's not going to last. So the protein and the salt and all this that's on the counter, it's a blessing. It's awesome to see all this, because the house is messy, it's noisy, and it's alive, right?
Yeah.
We agree with that, right? But we get so overwhelmed with knowing that when we're entrepreneurs, especially women, it never ends for us, ever ends. So I remember, I go back in the kitchen, and I look at the dishes, and I was telling AZ, there was a moment where AZ was constantly traveling for real estate out in Houston and back and forth. So I feel like I raised those kids on my own, kind of in the deal, you know. So there was a whole week that he was gone, and I remember coming home from work at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I would pick up the kids for my in-laws, and I'm like, man, I was so angry that I would come home, and there was dishes, there was laundry, and I didn't spend much time with my kids because, well, the hustle started again at 7 in the morning. So it was like, okay, I get to see them good night, I get to see them sleep, give them a kiss, and then drop them back off again at my in-laws. So there was one day I came in, and I'm like, you know what? And I think you're going to relate to this. I think a lot of women out there are going to relate to this. I look in the sink, and there's dishes, pots and pans, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And you know what will make me feel good? To throw every single dish in the garbage. So I took out the garbage can. We had to, pull out the long ones. Took it out. I dumped about 3 to 4 pots in there. It was to the top. Then I got the glass cups, and I just went bam and just dumped it in there, right? So a lot of them were like, oh my God, you're crazy. It's like a waste of money. But no, it was worth it. It was worth $150 in the trash, because I was like, oh, that feels so good. And all of a sudden, voila, my kitchen was clean. Right? Sometimes we have to go to that.
Paper plates.
I know, right? Well, trust me, my life changed forever when that came into my life. And a lot of people will judge on that, because like, oh, the environment. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. Anyway, how long have you been an agent?
16 years.
16 years. So talk to me. How do you make it happen every day? What moment do you like, you know what? I don't know if this is for me. Is there ever a moment, coming into real estate, you're like, I don't know if this real estate business is for me?
Yeah, I actually, all through my whole career, you are constantly asking yourself, is this the right direction for me? And then something happens where it's like, man, that was just like the greatest thing ever. And yes, this is the direction I want to go. So I originally got into real estate just kind of off a fluke. It wasn't even really something I was interested in. I just decided one day, went and got my license, passed the exam. First time, lots of people don't do that.
Where did you work? What did you do before that?
A graphic artist.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So did you bring that expertise into your business? Awesome. That's great. So you're doing that in part of your business. You kind of brought that in.
Yeah. Well, and I've always had a passion for architecture.
Uh-huh.
So that's something that kind of drew me into the real estate world too, because, you know, looking at all the different homes and stuff like that.
Were you in sales before?
Yeah, I've done sales all through my whole life. The one point that I didn't was when I was in design, because I was sitting in a cubicle. And I'm not a cubicle person. I can't sit there. I need to be out, and I need to be talking to people. And
so when you were in sales, how many? And so you were in sales before real estate.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. How many no's did you get?
Oh, tons.
How many rejections?
Tons.
So when you got into real estate as a fresh agent, as a brand new agent, those rejections were like, eh.
Yeah. Rejections are just all a part of it. It's, you know, being able to realize not getting upset at people that say no. Because you talk to so many people, someone's going to say yes.
So what made you, though, in that process decide, like, I mean, obviously you don't wake up and be like, oh, I'm just going to be a real estate agent. Did you run into someone? Did you drive by a school? What gave you that inspiration, that motivation to be like, I'm gonna become an agent and see how this works out?
I actually answered a news article.
What? A news article?
For an agent for a company way back when. And they said they were going to pay for my real estate license. So I went that direction. And it ended up I didn't end up working with them. I ended up going into new home sales. So that was my direction. And I learned a lot.
In there.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So how did you handle being an entrepreneur, business owner starting, and your kids at the time they were little?
It wasn't easy. I mean, it was one of those things where you have to really balance your schedule, and you have to find out what's most important to you. So, you know, your time with your children are really important. And when I started real estate, my daughter was a year old. And
how did you handle that? Were you a part-time agent at the time, or did you just go full-time? How'd you handle the
I actually put all my kids. So I had 3 kids. All of them, 2 of them were in school. 1 of them was in daycare full-time, and then the kids went to daycare after. So I had them in daycare. I spent a full day working, and then came home and picked them up. So it was, and I worked every weekend. And then my husband at the time.
So I'm gonna
looked after them too.
So it was always just both of you kind of co-parenting. You know, this brings me to the next question. And when you got into real estate, you were on this high. You had little ones. You were running around. You were full of energy. You had it all together. And you're like, I can make this happen.
Whoa, all together? No.
No. What I mean is, I got to tell you, because I know when I was a business owner, I remember I was young. I was in my early 20s, and I ended up opening my franchise, and I ended up a UPS store, and I was still pregnant. I gave birth on a Saturday, and I was training on a Monday. Like, it was insane. But I remember just having a belly through college and all these. But I was energized. I was good. I was just like, I was on fire. Nothing can stop me. Not even my newborn, because I just knew it was just gonna be. It's my baby, so it's going to just be raised based on my speed, right?
Yeah.
So it's just going to kind of live my life. But we're on this high, okay, as new moms, and if you're a workaholic, it's in you. If you're an entrepreneur, that's in you. It's just like, I want it, I'm gonna get it, and nothing's gonna get in my way. And that was my mentality. And it still is.
Yeah.
In so many ways. But goes to this. You were on a high, like everybody out there. Every new mom is out there. They're on a high. You're in 2 directions. You're like, I'm quitting everything. I'm done. I just want to stay home and look at my baby. Or you're like, I can manage everything and find that balance, right?
Yeah.
And I can do it all. But what goes up, and I said this yesterday, must come down. I want to hear about that, because you were on a high. We're in your real estate business career, you're just like, this is overwhelming. And everybody goes to this. So I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna bring it to the light a little bit.
Okay.
I want to hear that part because I want other women to know in real estate, there is a lot of single moms out there. There is a lot of married women out there who are the bread, who are making that money for the family, because of choice sometimes, and men are like, you know, don't make as much as women nowadays. Women nowadays are freaking crushing it, and they're no longer having babies and saying, oh, I'm gonna take a couple of years off. You know, they're no longer in that state of mind. They're just like, I'm going at it. You know, I want to make more than my husband. It becomes competitive and obviously in a loving way. I want to know that. I want to know that part of you because there is a lot of women out there that need to hear you. I want you to take yourself back. How long have you been an agent? 16 years? I want you to take yourself back that far.
Wow. Okay, so that was not easy. That's like hitting some stuff because there was a real challenge with my ex-husband, and as you know, he's my ex-husband. so
this is for all you single ladies out there who are going through that or have gone through that. Talk to me.
I think it was he didn't really know how to deal with the fact that I was the bread earner at this point because I was pulling in a lot of money. I was in a multiple six-figure income.
Can't give a little fist pump on that, sister? A little fist pump?
So, you know, that was something. And so I go back and I look at the way you and AZ are. I wish that there were certain things that happened through our relationship, but did not. And that was a challenge. It was an absolute challenge. And it didn't survive.
And, you know, I have to say this. I get that a lot. I wish I can go back and make things different. But that's not life.
No.
The reality is you never want to go back. I mean, let's be real. You never want to go back because
No.
not necessarily is there going to be a guarantee that that other person's going to change.
Well,
right?
and the thing is that it just wasn't meant to be.
It just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And I love that when, and I get to express, I guess, myself in this sense when people say, you know, we're you and AZ, and it's like, it's not me and AZ, it's me. This is me and AZ. So it just happened to be that it worked out. It was just like, Carla is in control of Carla. And I just remember there was a point in my life that I was working for AZ.
Yeah.
And I didn't own up to being like, wait a minute, I make money too. And because of me, all this is working out. And you have your part, I have my part. So I never stood up for myself in that sense.
Yeah.
So when I started to say, you know what, I'm going to take control. I'm not happy. I'm going to take full control of this. And I'm going hard on this. Because that's truly who I am. Somewhere along the line in the marriage, I just got lost.
Yeah.
So his insecurities were on me. My insecurities were on him. So we decided to say, hey, we threw a divorce out there, we separated and all that, fine. But at the end of the day, it was like, hey, you go do you, and whatever, you got some things to work out. And I obviously, my whole life is out there, and if you're not following me, go to dothework.com, follow me there, and you'll know my whole life. So it's like, I'm like this person over here, and I'm like, you know what, when I find myself and decide what I want in life and my purpose and my reason and all this, and I have to love me more than I ever loved you, then I might come back. But if that doesn't happen, then this wasn't meant to be. Now, a lot of people might disagree with that, but the thing is that everything was going to fall apart in my life, from business to family to marriage, if I fell apart. So I love that you said that because it wasn't AZ and I so much, it was us. So I want to know, this goes to my next question. When did you feel, because you're the breadwinner, but when you and I met, it was a little different. It was like you lost that part of you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want to know. How did you regain that confidence to be like, wait a minute, I was the breadwinner. How did all this go wrong? Because did you have a point when you got a divorce that, can I do this on my own? When you knew all along you could do it on your own?
I think there was a lot of years, and it wasn't easy. There were a lot of years where I just was numb. And I was just floating around, and I was just I was more like a robot than I was a person. And so I literally had to come back into me. And I know this sounds kind of contrived, but it isn't. Over the last 2 years, I've had major life changes, but where my life made big changes was coming to AZ and Associates. I kind of found my voice, if so to speak, I suppose. I came into who I was before, but better. You know, like I'm still finding myself, but it's like I really stepped into who I need to be.
Yes.
You know?
I love that. Yes. And that's, and you know, when we first met, and I just, and I don't want to go into this because you and I have such a great story when we first met, and it's so amazing. But I just remember when we first met, you just lost. You were just you weren't lost. How can I express this in a way? There was something missing.
Oh, yeah.
And there was just, and someone just had to come to tell you, like, hey, you are the shit. You are amazing. You are beautiful. And I remember, and I'll never forget this, such a small little moment right here that I just took so much pride in. And I have to congratulate myself on this one. So I remember you walking into my gym, and I run a fitness program. It's Fit in 12. Well, you should have wore the shirt today, represent the Fit in 12.
Oh, yeah, but I did the pink, do the work.
So I run a fitness program within the brokerage, and it's called Fit in 12. And there's certain members in there, and I love Carla. She comes in. She said, I want to be part of the program. I'm like, okay, let's do this. She walks into the gym, and it was just an assessment just to see where her strength, where her mindset was. And when she walks in, she picks up, 5-10 pounds?
It was 5 pounds.
It was 5 pounds. And I said, let's do some shoulder presses. And I only had her to warm up. It was just a warm up of like 15 reps. And I'm standing behind her, and I'm just telling you how amazing you are. And we're going to get you in tip-top shape, and let's do this. And encouraging you. And then just tears come down your face.
That was hard.
That was extremely hard for the both of us. And so I said, put down the weight, and let's talk. And you said, I just lost my power. I've just lost my strength. That's not who, and it has nothing to do with your strength. Your strength was there. It has nothing to do with that. And I'm like, put the weight down. This has nothing to do, and that's what I love about my program, Fit in 12, because it has nothing to do with lifting weight, as you know that.
Yeah.
It has so much more to do with that. It's not about empowering you. It's not about giving you that, the tight abs and the ass and all this. It's more about empowering you on what is missing, what is missing. Because you truly are that powerful woman. You are a powerful woman. And you said something very right now. Hey, I'm the breadwinner. And I'm like, you lost that part and that confidence of yourself. And it's there. It was there. You just needed someone like me to come in and be like, hey, matter of fact, put the 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Now you're going to shoulder press 20. Because I know your form is good. Everything about you is good. There's nothing wrong with you. Now you're going to give me the 20 with 10 reps. And you're like, I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, the hell you can. So in that moment, it just took that 30 minutes for me to be like, let's do this. And all of a sudden, those 20 pounds became like nothing, like air. It was just like, that's all and from there, you were a sponge, and you took off. Well, your business is blowing up now. It's doing great. I'm like, wait a minute. All I told you was lift 20 pounds, and all of a sudden, you got like clients at your door.
So I remember when we were doing Arnold's, and I couldn't do, like, I was doing 5 pounds on that. And I actually taped myself doing 20-pound Arnold's. And I was like, I didn't put it online, but I thought it was just
and you should have. You should have. There is a ton of women out there need to see that. You should have posted that video. That's awesome right there. No, and it's great. So going to your hobbies, what do you do? Because I know it can't be all about business. It's always about business and kids and all. So what are your hobbies? What now do you look towards your health? Because that's something that we talk about around here. Health is like first and foremost extremely important because what comes up must come down. So talk to me. What are your hobbies?
I like to hike. And
Isn't that peaceful?
It is. It actually, I think you get closer to yourself, and I'm a spiritual person, so I think you get closer to God and the energies that propel you forward. And I also I like stones. I'm all about rocks, and that's part of Mother Earth and everything like that. So I'm kind of
So how does all this, everything you've gained, how does that, just mentally and physically, how does that correlate with your business? Like, how is that?
It focuses me. So I don't know how else to say it, but it
does it need to make sense? It'll make sense to me. Say it.
Yeah.
Just put something together for me.
It just helps me focus. I mean, you have to have self-care. So one of the things that I was not doing for myself for many, many years, and a lot of people don't do, is they don't take care of themselves. They don't, because being a mother,
I love it.
You take care of everybody else and then you forget about yourself. And there comes a point where you're just ready to fall apart because there's nothing there left. There's just only people to take care of, and then there's nothing for you.
And you said something right now that is extremely important, and I love that you said this. And this is the thing, women in real estate. I've incorporated this into Badass Agents because I think it's important that everyone hears the woman's side, their point of view on how they see themselves in life. Everyone has a different story. We all do. We all have a different story. We all have, a moment where we just kind of want to give up. We all have a moment where we're just like, I'm throwing in the towel and I'm done and I'm quitting. We all have a moment where we look ourselves in the mirror and we're just like, man, we're aging. I'm exhausted. And then that thing, I kind of pulls you back a little bit and you're just already way back. You're like, damn, how did I get so far back? Yeah. I was ahead of the game. So, we all have that moment. And it becomes harder. And this is what I love about you. You're divorced and you're single. Mm-hmm. No, she's not available, guys.
No.
She's not available. But you are, and I think a lot of women out there are. And I'll say this, I was almost divorced and single, and I would have figured it all on my own, which I would have been just fine. Yeah. But I want you to tell us, as a single woman out there, or wanting to get a divorce, or in that process, they feel lost, confused, and they're like, okay, and some of them have kids. Some of them have kids, and some of them don't, but for the most part, what would you tell the women out there that are wanting to kind of move forward with their lives and just say, I don't want to, I come from a home, I come from owning my house, I come from that environment, and I want to make sure that I continue my happiness raising my kids in a home. What would you tell women out there, those single women out there who are going in the process of divorce, like what are the steps to take to see if they qualify for a home, to see what the next step is to put their children in a home so they don't have to be stuck in a one-bedroom apartment? There's so much resources out there, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us, what are those steps? And what would be, like, if I was telling you and I'm like I want a divorce, I'm filing for divorce, I'm afraid, my kids have always had their own rooms, and I'm just afraid as a woman, what is my step to purchase a home? So talk to me.
Okay.
If I was, and I'm not getting divorced, AZ, but watch yourself. But if I was.
So, first of all, you need to find out what price point you're going to be in. So the best way to find out about that is you need to talk to a lender first. So you find yourself an awesome real estate agent. Hello, me. And I will put you in touch with my lender. My lender's going to find out where you're at, if you need to work on some things, depending on how, where you're at, like what happened in your divorce or where you are in life. When it comes to your credit, you have to find out what you qualify for, how much you qualify for, and then we can start to look for something for you.
I love that. And that's exactly what it is. You need to take a step forward to what your goals are.
Yeah.
What your goals are, what you're looking for, and what you need to do to get there. I've had a ton of single moms actually contact me in the last month, wanting to take that step. They're young, they're single, and they have a job. They've been at the same job for 5-6 years. They're ready to purchase, and they think that immediately they have to move into a home. It's like you don't even know where you're at. So the first thing would be is contact a lender, right? And to put you and set you up with a goal to what is your next step. Because man, you can be in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath in a year from now. You just don't know it. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, yeah, that would be all right.
4-bedroom, 2-bath. So probably 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah, that would make more sense for having kids, big kitchen. But I had a lot of single moms contact me. And yeah, there you are. A phenomenal agent who knows her stuff right here. I want to point the camera over her, right here. There you go, those who are watching. All right, going back to badass agents. I want you to tell those who are watching they got their license or in the process of getting their license, what is their next step? What to look for? What to look for as a new agent?
So I'm kind of biased here because I knew what I was looking for when I came to you guys. A lot of agents out there don't know what they're looking for because they're new. They don't know what their experiences are going to be.
So it's kind of be like, what would be the thing that you would like going back 16 years, going back when you first got out of the class or out of the testing, yes, I got my license. I'm gonna make a ton of money, which is not, could be true for some, but for the most part, it's not. What would you tell that? What would you do different, or what would you do different?
What would I do different? Yeah. I would have found you guys. Like, seriously, because one of the things coming into real estate, you don't know until you do it.
I love that. Yeah.
Because you can have all the training in the world. And that goes with anything, but real estate especially. You can have all the training in the world, but until you are out there talking to people, experiencing every single transaction is different. Nothing can be put into a book that can explain everything. The questions can't be the same. It's all new every person you deal with.
I love it.
And that's something that you need to have good training. And if I were to do something different, I would have picked a different company to go through. I will say that coming here reevaluated some of the stuff that I knew from experience, but enhanced everything that I had and taught me new stuff.
Love it. I love it. I guess that goes to my next question. What is the greatest value you received here?
Say that again.
The greatest value you received here. What is something that you can say, you know what, as soon as I walked in the store, this is what I felt. So tell me that. When you walked in, when you got to meet us. How long was it before you came over here?
Well,
did you just immediately change?
I was in new home sales. I quit,
but what was the time
that came over here?
Immediately?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! You just made
actually, no. It wasn't that easy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I actually was searching for a company. There was something specific I was looking for. I was looking for the environment.
And I guess that was the question I was asking you, like what you actually got here.
For me was the environment, the camaraderie. We're all individuals, but we don't have to be cutthroat at each other. I mean, there's enough for everybody.
I love that. I can't say that enough. There's enough business for everyone.
Yeah, and you don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to stab anybody in the back. You don't have to treat anybody with disrespect. You can help people out without taking anything away from you, and I think that actually brings you more respect. And when you give, you get. That's what and that's what I was looking for, and that's what I found.
I absolutely love that. Thank you. I was going to ask you right now, what would you tell the new agents out there who are, or just any agent at all who is interested in moving to A.Z. & Associates, if they're stuck? Because just yesterday, I interviewed somebody who was here. I don't like to say interview because I like to call this like a conversation piece back and forth. Yesterday, and she said it took me a while to get here. And that's what I want to know. What would you tell those who are seeking to look for a new brokerage, or are wanting that type of environment, how to make the move? Because you literally said, I went from here to there quick without even thinking.
Well,
but not a lot of people are like that.
So one of the things that I did was I interviewed a couple places, and I had a friend of mine who was here already, and I didn't talk to her about it. I didn't ask her. I don't know why I didn't ask her. But then I was telling her, I said, I'm looking for this. And she goes, Carolyn, why aren't you over here? So I came here right away. And that kind of like solidified it, because I knew someone who was in your brokerage. She told me, we knew each other for a long time. We've been in real estate together for as long, we're both started at the same place. And so I knew she knew what I was looking for. And I wish I had reached out to her in the beginning. I would have saved myself a whole lot of time and I would have been here a lot sooner. So that's one of the things I will tell any new agent out there, any of you. Save yourself a whole lot of heartache, a whole lot of stress, a whole lot of not knowing if you chose the right place, and just come and talk to Carla.
Come and talk to Carla. Yesterday, somebody was like, I was afraid of you. I love it. Just come talk to Carla. That's it. Do you think it'll be a yes or a no? Yesterday, too, they were like, when I met Carla, it was either like yes or a no.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And you don't have to be afraid of Carla. I mean, I love her. She's awesome. She really is. I mean, you really are. You're true. You're a real person. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll walk into a lot of these other brokerages and you'll find a whole lot of people that want to be. And they aren't, but you are.
You're not supposed to make me cry. I'm supposed to make you cry. I love you. Well, thank you for joining me today. You're again, so many women, and stay tuned because we have a ton. My schedule is booked with women coming in all week, so you get to hear different stories and just kind of their moments that we all want to break down as women, and we continue on in independent business owners and entrepreneurs like her. There's many of them coming my way, and I just love it because I have my whole schedule booked, and I just love that they all said, yes, I want to be out there. I want to tell my story on the struggles. Obviously, we can't get everything in 30, 40 minutes, but you'll get a little glimpse of what everyone goes through. We are all the same. Our struggles are the same. We want to pull our hair out, but we continue moving forward. Now, if you are interested in A.Z. & Associates Real Estate Group, go to badassagents.com and fill out the application. You fill it out. Just come and talk to us. Like, come meet Carla. See if this is a place for you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great afternoon. Bye.